Hello?
Yep, there we go. Hello.
Hi, Mark.
Afternoon. Afternoon. We got
Sorry,
there.
I'm having such technical trouble.
Oh, so am I, to be there. My other Instagram's locked me out.
What's happening to you? Locked you out?
Oh, did it? It's because I was like, I think it said I've reached my limit. I guess because I've done like 10 live streams or something today. It's kind of like,
So
you
you
can't do
didn't know
anymore.
that there was a limit?
No, not a clue.
Oh dear, I don't think anyone did, to be honest with you. But
No.
you have done a lot of interviews today, so
Yeah, I'm at that
do it.
point.
You exhausted?
Yeah, when I get up for like, because I've just been sat here, it was all right. Till I got up for lunch, that was the problem.
Right. Then everything fell apart. Anyway,
Like,
nice to see you.
and you, there's obviously a lot of the gang are here, obviously as well. So they're all, you've got Amélie love coming in. But I've got loads of questions for you. If you're
Okay,
happy to
I,
field
I,
them,
I will
happy to field
endeavour
them.
to answer them.
The first one is, how did you get into acting slash being a musician?
Well, I was a choir boy when I was a wee nipper. I went to Westminster Cathedral Choir School as a boarder, so I was like living in the school from the age of 7. So that was 7 till 12 until my voice broke, and it was pretty amazing because I got to sing for the Pope and the Queen and loads of royals and celebrities and stuff like that. And at that age, it was pretty incredible. And then I was lucky enough to win a competition called the Cathedral Choir Boy of the Year when I was 10.
Yeah.
And when I won that, I thought, "Hey, this is great!" And I think that set the ball rolling for me to have a performing life because I was excited and I got to be on the telly and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I think that's kind of what got me into it. And then after that, I went to school and I did the normal stuff. And
Yeah.
I thought singing was a bit uncool for a while, and cello and piano. And then suddenly it came back when I was about 16. It started. I got back into music actually because it meant that I could get out of lots of other stuff,
Yeah.
like being in the army
Yeah.
at school because everyone else had to be in the army. But because I was doing music, I was like, I don't have to do that. So it was great. So I did. So I got back into doing concerts and stuff, and then did a music degree at university, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
decided to give it a go in the old business of show. So yeah,
Amazing. I mean,
yeah.
most of these, obviously, the large percent of these questions are obviously Amélie based. So
That's fine.
pay
Of course,
yourself.
that's how you know me.
Well, not really, because obviously we go back to like Wizard of Oz. Obviously, first time
Wizard of
obviously I
Oz,
saw you.
circa 2008.
It's crazy. Time flies.
Do you remember my Tin Man house?
I can't remember. I can't remember any of it really. It's just that long ago.
No,
That's the only time I've
it was,
been to the
it was, it
Haymarket.
was, it was a big house of baked beans.
Oh,
So just loads of baked bean cans stacked on top of each other. It was a really cool set. I remember that.
yeah, no. That's the only time I went to the Haymarket before it obviously closed then, till it
And
came back and then
how
closed
old
again.
were you then?
2008, I'd be 17, I suppose.
17.
Good days.
Haven't changed a bit.
Probably have. But yeah, obviously, I mean, obviously, it's gone now, the Haymarket, which is weird.
I know, it's a real shame. Very, very sad.
But obviously, going back to the A word, if we want to call it that,
The A word.
how, obviously, how was the experience for you? Because obviously, for all those guys, you know, we all loved it. So
Yeah, well, you guys made it a lot better for us. It was the most extraordinary experience for me because I had taken a bit of time out from theatre for various reasons. I'd done lots of long runs in West End shows and stuff, and I kind of got a bit mentally exhausted by it all. So I was doing lots of gigs with a group called the Flyboys, actually they're like a swing group and doing a lot of cruising and stuff, and teaching singing. So the thought of being in a long run show for a while was not really what I felt like. And then the audition for Amélie was plonked in my inbox from my agent, and I read the script, and it completely blew me away. Actually, it really did.
Yeah.
And you know, I like to think in my career that a lot of stuff has happened for a reason. A lot of the right roles have come along, like Once and all these things, and it just felt like the perfect timing. The roles are made for me, I think, because well, they're basically part of me.
Yeah.
And yeah, the experience was pretty incredible, pretty incredible. Like it was very stressful putting the show on, as I'm sure other people have said, because yeah, it was a very stressful experience because it was as you know, a brand new version of the show, and we had to learn the instruments like everyone does in actor musician stuff. But it was the hardest thing I have ever put on in a short period of time. And then we opened, and everyone loved it, and it was the most incredible feeling because it could have been the complete opposite. So it was incredible. The watermill was incredible, and then we got to tour it, which was the only tour I've ever done. So I got to go around the country and see some really cool places and some not so cool places, and then London. So yeah, I loved it, and I love the show. I find it, I love it even more now than I did.
Yeah, I'm probably biased, but I would say you were probably, your roles are probably like the emotional heart of it, watching it for me.
Oh, thank you. That's really lovely of you to say.
Me and Sophie, I mean, you should have tried to sit next to Sophie on the last night because you guys broke her. You guys broke her that night.
I know. I apologise. I can only apologise. I think it's the pain that both of the characters I was playing underneath the surface of their characters was so beautiful to play and really well written as well, in not many words. So obviously I don't take full credit for that, but it's yeah, to play those sort of characters that are in such a horribly controlled emotional state is a kind of a gift for an actor, I would say.
Yeah. Just like you say, I was talking to Rachel earlier. She was on about obviously the process.
Oh, Rachel, my wife.
Indeed. Yeah, she was on about obviously the process of, like you say, getting it all together because it's an original show. Then obviously you had to rehearse at the same time because obviously you were bringing Danny Mack in then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It was extraordinary, and also cello-wise. I don't know if you talked with Rachel about it, but Rachel is the reason why we had the cellos attached to our necks. Because I don't know if you saw Once, but in Once I played the cello and moved around in one number, and I had a waistcoat that was attached to the cello, so it was absolutely fine. But we realised with Amélie that it's so complicated, and we had to take our cellos off and on and off and on and off, especially because I was playing the piano a lot as well. It was completely unrealistic. So Rachel put together this sort of stick that we just attached to the cello and we just held it, and I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this, but I did. I managed it. And it was hard. And I'm not going to lie, for about 3 months after we finished Amélie, my back and neck were in a bit of a state. Yeah. But it's better now.
Good. And obviously you got the icing on the cake to kind of finish it with, Olivier nominations and then obviously doing the cast recording. That must kind of be nice.
It's wonderful. And I have to say, obviously the awards, obviously got cancelled and that's a real shame. But for me, the cast recording is the most important thing because we got to make that album pretty much as soon as we'd finished in London when everything was still banging in our brains. And it was a very, very happy, emotional and uplifting experience. And I'm so proud of it. And I think we can all say that. It sounds great. And listening to it when we had a Zoom session before they opened before they put it out on the internet, we all listened to it on Zoom, and there were a lot of tears shed, partly because of the period that the world is going through and we're all going through at the moment. Yeah. And it's all about connection or lack of it. And it made it all the more beautiful.
So I'm trying to read some of these comments now. Probably Instagram. If nothing's too technical.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
There you go. But yeah, just one of those things. I think, especially for us as fans, kind of that cast recording has probably come at a great time for us, obviously, because we've had the show and kind of then it's closed, obviously, and
Yeah.
it's
Were
kind
you
of
guys
kept us
pleased with
going.
it?
Yeah. We had a Zooms on the day it came out, and that was very amazing.
Fantastic.
So we kind
Fantastic.
of it's kind of kept us all connected, I suppose, just having that coming out a couple of months later.
Yeah. Lovely.
And that's been very good. But yeah, obviously, don't have to talk about the same show all the time because you've done other stuff as well.
Yeah, not that I remember.
No, of course. But obviously, as you say, once, that must have been quite another amazing show to work on musically.
Yeah.
In general, was that kind of the first actor musician show you did? I'm guessing it's probably not, but
I'd done. Do you know what? I hadn't done an actor musician show since 2006, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'd done something else at the Watermill called Martingale. I don't know if you know the show.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, my washing machine's just gone into spin cycle. I hope it's not too loud. So I'd done that many, many years before, and I'd made a decision early on that I didn't want to only do actor musician shows because you sort of narrow your horizons a little bit. So I'd done a real mix, lots of normal shows and lots of actor musician shows. But again, once was a completely unique actor musician show, partly because it wasn't just people playing instruments. It was about music. It was about music and how it brought people together. And it was about getting a band together. And again, a completely wonderful show and an amazing experience for me. The part I played was a joy because it was sort of a comedy bank manager who was gay and in the closet and in a very, very unpleasant situation, actually. And it was so much fun just putting together this weird group of people on stage, especially in Act 2 in the band. Yeah, it was amazing. And obviously we got Olivier's, and it's the probably the most successful actor musician show in the West End for a long, long period of time, if not ever. So yeah, I was very proud to be part of that. Very proud.
Amazing. Yeah. I saw it with David Hunter and you was doing it.
Oh, David, the voice of an angel.
So yeah, brilliant. I don't
Well,
think
he used to sing me that song in the bank, and I used to melt. It's so beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, superb. Kind of, how do you build a character from when you get a script to the part you're on stage? I mean, obviously with rehearsals and everything, it probably builds through it. But
how do I build it? It's kind of a slow process, but I don't have a specific setup. What I do is I try to connect first of all with the character and find facets within myself that are that there are parallels with, because that really helps me. I think there are always parallels with characters that you play that are part of you. And then I just try to immerse myself in it as we go through the rehearsal period, and just experimenting. And it's so funny because one day it just sort of clicks and it becomes right, and you feel it. And obviously with a lot of help from directors as well. And like, for instance, Amélie, our director, was incredibly intelligent and very, very helpful with all of his pointers that he gave us as we went through. And also it's about the whole story, whatever story you're telling. You're just a small part of that. So it's not just about you and your character. It's about where you fit into this world that you're creating. So I would say the world that we create in Amélie and once in everything I've done is the first thing, and then the character starts to come into place afterwards.
Amazing. And I guess kind of, especially on being an actor musician show, you must have I think I asked you this when you did the written one, the kind of the backstage sessions where you're all playing must be almost as good as the show, can they?
They were incredible, but they were absolutely necessary because we had so little time. But it was the only time we were just together as cast, and had a couple of bottles of wine, and it was the best way of learning. It really goes in that way because you're relaxed. I think because you're so stressed out when you're learning stuff in the day-to-day rehearsal with the creators in the room, that can stop it going into your brain. And when it becomes fun and enjoyable, that's when it goes in, because your brain allows it in and it sort of gets into your bones.
Marvelous. Has anyone got any questions here? As soon as some of the Amélie guys are here, see if they want to throw anything at you. They probably will.
Don't throw things at me. I'm very fragile.
There you go. Don't literally. But yeah, all of us kind of. You're the one I'd say that stood out. Not stood out. It's not the right word because you all stood out in the show. But yeah, watching you every night, especially in kind of like How to Tell Time and stuff like that.
Oh, what a beautiful song that is! And it's only 1 minute and 8 seconds. It's the shortest little song, yet it has the most incredible emotional journey, doesn't it? Especially because you've heard it before in Act 1 with Bottle Drops, you know, so you've heard the music. And especially when I was playing the cello and I turned round during that moment as well. So introducing the character, even though nobody had a clue who I was. But yeah, that song, oh my God, it's incredible. And it's just 2 chords played over and over and over again. But for me, it's the slow speed up as the emotion does into the Howard Carter, you know, explosion. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous song. And so short, you know, hilarious, really.
Let's see what people are saying. I don't know if I can ask that. Amy said, what's the worst tour venue?
Say that again.
Amy said, what's the worst tour venue? I don't know if you can answer that, do you?
I can answer that. The worst.
Don't say the Haymarket because they follow me still. So.
Of course, I wouldn't say the Haymarket. No, I mean, okay, I'll tell you my favourites.
Yeah, that's better.
Malvern was one of my favourites. I don't know if you've been there, but it's the most beautiful place.
Yeah,
first
place I met you on tour.
And the theatre was nice. The Bristol Old Vic week was incredible because it's such an amazing venue, and it was sold out, and the audiences were lapping it up. There were certain venues where I don't think the audiences got the show as well. I won't say where they were, but that was a bit frustrating for us. And also, what I will say is, I don't think the show suits the big theatres.
Yeah.
It works fine, but I think you miss a lot of the detail within the piece, you know. And what I feel is when we sunk into the other palace, it was just the perfect venue. It really, really was, because the people were right there. Although I'm not going to lie, they were a little bit too close at the beginning, and it felt a little bit too much. It was like, ugh. But you got used to it.
Yeah, because I saw it in a few different venues, and obviously, especially Leicester, because you had the massive gap from
Leicester
the audience to the stage.
It was hard because of that big gap. I don't know why they couldn't put chairs in to bring them forward, because that made us feel unattached to the audience.
Yeah.
Because whenever I've done other shows there, because I did the Wizard of Oz there, and I did a show called Pacific Overtures. I don't know if you know, it's a Sondheim show.
Yeah.
I did that at the Haymarket as well, but we used the part, we had the orchestra in the pit, and we used the whole front of the stage, which was much better. Obviously, we couldn't do that in Amélie.
No. Soph asks, how did you get so deeply in the role of Bread of Toe? I probably said that terribly.
Bread to Dough is, I would say, without wanting to give too much away from me, about me, has a lot of similarities to my psyche a little bit. I'm quite melancholy, so his melancholy, and I'm not saying I'm down on my luck at all, but how he reacted to being down on his luck and just closing himself off to the world resonated with me incredibly. And for me, the most important thing was the journey, like I say, through How to Tell Time and through that short scene, how to pinpoint those emotional beats to where he has the phone call and literally all of the pain of the last however many years falls away in that one moment. So it was the slow rise towards that moment that I found very interesting, and it took a long time into. I didn't find it difficult to get to that emotional place because I have a wealth of emotion in me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really cathartic thing for me to do.
Amazing. And I guess the whole kind of feel of the show kind of felt not melancholic, but it kind of felt that sort of
Hugely, no,
beautiful.
it was. I think it's incredibly melancholic. And we were all sort of these strange flies just flying around Amélie, these odd people. But like we all sang in that the first number and the last number. Everyone's falling, just floating through the air, trying to grab hold of stuff. And what I, also talking about Raphael a little bit, especially during this lockdown period, I found his journey incredibly poignant because, so many people are stuck in their houses. I mean, he chose to be stuck in his house and painted gnome and not get involved with life. But it made me very, very sad, actually, that the whole world was being forced to be in that situation. Yeah.
Glorious. Soph's praising your cello playing and the bottle drops, if you've not read that.
Oh, thank you. I love that bit. I love that bit. Yeah. Sometimes it was out of tune, I'm not going to lie, but I'm hoping you weren't in any of those ones.
We probably were. We probably wouldn't have noticed it there.
But what I will say is we have having been through the journey together, we are all very much still in touch as a group now, and there's a real strength and love between the group of us, the Amélie cast, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I really hope we can keep that. I really do, and maybe one day do it again. Who knows?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We'll set them all off now, You're going to finish everyone off on it.
Keep putting that out into the world.
We'll keep doing it. We'll keep promoting it.
Yeah.
Kind of the last question I've been asking everyone, the same sort of question, is what was the best piece of advice you'd give to someone who wanted to get into acting, music?
I think that's always a very hard question to ask.
Yeah. I
think you have to know, it has to be the be all and end all for you because it's a difficult path. There's no denying it. It's a very difficult path. And I've been incredibly lucky with how much work I've done. And I've got several friends that have had years and years and years without work. So I'd say build a healthy resilience so you can handle those periods when you're out of work. And not just that, have other things that can earn you money between each job, which is so important. I mean, I teach singing a lot. I do all sorts of other things, and they can still be creative. So I'm still creative when I'm teaching singing, but you have to have other things, and you also have to have a life outside it as well, because it's not healthy to be too focused on one thing in your life. I hope that didn't sound negative, but
No.
I'd also say enjoy the ride as well, because it has those incredible highs, and those moments when they come, make the most of them, lap them up, and just live your best life when they're happening, because it's incredible. It really is.
Marvellous. Well, that wraps it up beautifully.
Look at that, bang on 4 o'clock. You're impressive.
Marvellous.
Okay, Mike. Well, I hope you don't lose your voice by the end of the day. But
I might have. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for coming. It's been amazing to catch up with you. And
yeah, lovely to chat. And whoever else is there, hello, and thank you for all your support. And hopefully we'll see you all again.
We will, hopefully. But yeah, thank you again for your time, and have a good afternoon, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the summer.
Cheers.
Guys.
Bye. Bye.